Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Texas Gal Treasures. Today, I'm sharing a lot of different things that have sold on the different platforms I sell on. I sell on eBay and Etsy. And I'm also going to be sharing one of the ways that I speed up my listing process by using a cross-posting platform, which incorporates an AI lister, which I'm going to show you. And it's really, really helpful for me because I do list on multiple platforms. So it's super important for me to be able to get these out quickly and to also be able to have all of these listings in one place. But I'm going to start with what sold. And if you are here watching live, then say hello in the chat because I am live and I will be answering questions. If they're pertinent to what we're talking about, then I'll answer right away if I see them. And if not, I'll come back at the very end. And if you've got any other questions, I've been doing a lot of videos about AI, and I think I did one live in the car. So if there's any questions that pop up, then I am more than happy to answer them. So I'm going to start with some of my sales, and there are some that were just so spectacular. I put 5 surprising items that sold on eBay, and there were probably more than 5, but there were definitely 5 standouts that I want to make sure that you're not overlooking when you're out at garage sales or thrift stores. And some of them, it's quite kind of that thing where like, I don't know what this is. It looks weird. And so I'm going to look it up, and then lo and behold, it's like, whoa, hello, that's my electric bill, right? So let's dive into that. Hello, I am live, and so hello in the chat. Hi, Tara, and hello, Miss O Jewelry Designer. Hi, Deborah. Thanks for being here. All right, let's start. It says remove, but am I just on the wrong screen? Hold on. I haven't used this in a minute. There we go. So I'm going to make me small. All right. First up, y'all know I like selling little toys and things like that, only because they're so easy, right? So this is just, and yeah, it sold for $10, but hang on, it made it too small. I was trying to there we go, like so. Um, yeah, if you get like a baggie of these, and again, let me share my philosophy. I would love to only make big, giant $100 sales, $50 sales. And I know there's a lot of like hater type people that are like, oh, if you're not making this much money, it's not even worth your time. Like, great. If you can only find $100 profit sales, tell me where you live. And then I'll be over there too to be picking where you are. But in reality, what I call it bricks and mortar, right? So we've got those bricks out of those big ticket item sales. They're like 40, 50 for me plus dollars, right? I would love a big house of brick sales, right? But that's not reality. Reality is you got to have mortar too. And some people call it bread and butter, those little sales of things that just sell over time. And they may be just little things that you got. I have a ton of this kind of stuff, like the buttons y'all hear me talking about all the time. You'll see some today that I bought them years ago and they're still selling. And yeah, it took me time to, but how really? It wasn't like I was having to wash it and iron it and measure it. And it's take a little thing, flip it, picture, done. All right, moving on. And those little sales, they've had those months or weeks that maybe you're not getting some of your big sales. So I'm more than happy for that. All right, I'm off my soapbox now. So this is one of my mortar sales in my bricks and mortar strategy. And it's just like a little McDonald's toy, right? But hey, I'll take it. Here's another one. I'm just a sucker for candle holders and luminaries. Luminaries always sell really well for me. So that's where you might have a candle holder or something that has holes poked through it. I've sold paper ones, the ones that look like paper bags. I had a set that were like gold and they had stars or something like that on it. Hi. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while, Doug. Hello. Happy 4th to you too. Thanks for being here. So this one sold for $15, and I probably got it for $1 or so. And then, let me make this bigger. This is another one of these, the bricks and mortars. My friend that gave me, no, this didn't come from that lot. I had a bunch of comics from a friend. This I got from the big lot of comic books, Mad magazines. Uh, what else was in there? National Lampoon, a bunch of horror, like eerie and books and things like that, all for 60 bucks. And again, that was like over 2 years ago. And those are still selling, right? Boom, 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 after one after another. So this one sold for $17.24. And if the prices are kind of wonky, I was having a sale in my shop because I was trying to like, oh, I'm just trying to clear out some stuff because I do have things that have been sitting forever. And I get the question like, how long do you let things sit? I'm like, forever, pretty much, unless it's giant. And I'm like, this thing out of here. I can't look at it anymore. Here we go. Creepy. There was a bunch of these creepy magazines. Some of them sold immediately for, there was one that sold for over $100. And I bought the whole lot. It was like 3 or 4 boxes of magazines and comics for 60 bucks. And this one sold for $31.24. I hope your sales have been going out. Let me know what's been selling really well for you in the chat if you're watching live or if you're watching later. And then this is a Boline ivory porcelain sugar bowl. And Boline is like, it's a type of porcelain, but it's super thin. Like you can see through it. This one sold for $27.99. Let me know too if the volume's okay, because I haven't done this in a little while with this program. Where did I get this? I got it recently. This was a Sex Wax air freshener. Y'all remember Sex Wax? I do, because I grew up near a coastal town where they were surfers and they would get their sex wax and wax up their surfboards, right? Not amazing surfing in Galveston, but they were still out there. But yeah, so gosh, I got this recently. I think it was in like a free box or something at a garage sale. And this was in a lot that I got of stickers. And this was with the buttons that I got. Anyway, this one sold for $20.99. Maybe paid a quarter for it, probably less. And then I saw this at the thrift store. And the only reason I knew to get this was because I'd sold one before. I mean, it just looks like this weird lava lady, and her top is like empty. So you would plant like a little succulent or something in there. And then, okay, so after this one, I see your comment. I'm going to jump to that next. Have an appreciation your AI and info. Very interesting and helpful. Good. I'm so glad. I was like, oh, I'm going to mix it up and do something different today. So this sold, and this is one of those that I was like, do I list it or do I not? But I thought, let me just see. And I listed it. It sold for 15 bucks. So I'll take it. All right. I'm going to come back to these. I still have more because I haven't shared with you the really cool big selling things that I want to share with you. But I do. How do I share this again? I want to show you the listing thing that I use because I have been getting questions about that. Hang on. Screen share over here. Here we go. So I use a cross-posting platform called List Perfectly. And it is a paid platform, but it is so worth it for me for multiple reasons. Here, let me close out of this real quick. So you can see it looks like, well, that's the dashboard. So it looks like this. It'll pull up and it'll hold all your listings in there. And then it'll say, what your price is and where you have it listed. So some places I have things just on eBay, others eBay and Etsy. And when I was selling more on more platforms, I was, it was Poshmark, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace. And I am getting my website revamped. So I'm probably going to be selling on my own website pretty soon too, just to have, through Shopify. We'll see how that goes. But I wanted to share this because I am getting a lot of questions about using AI for listing. And I haven't really done a whole lot of that yet, I will say. But I have used in List Perfectly, there is an AI lister, and it is so helpful. Let me pull up the one I was just showing you because it did such a good job with it because it was a unique item, right? So I got this random. Can you see it? Let me make me smaller. Hang on. It's a bag. It's German and it's a piggy bank, right? I got this at a super random garage sale in somebody's shed. And I was like, this is weird, right? And I couldn't find it, looked it up, couldn't find it, right? So I used List Perfectly's, and it's called Listing Assistant. You click that and you can say create from images, and you would drop the images in, right? So it already sees my images. And then you click launch listing assistant. I'm not going to do it because it already did it. But it gives you all of this information. It looks at the pictures. I will say, unless they fixed it, the first 5 pictures are the ones that pulls from. So I made sure to put the measurement pictures in the first 5. You can rearrange it later, but I made sure in the first 5 images that I had all the like important stuff that I wanted to make sure was in there. And then it populated the title, the description, and then we were just talking about this at an eBay event the other was it yesterday, 2 days ago, about the item specifics, and it'll start filling in some of these item specifics for you as well. And I will say that I do go back and double check the measurements, and I double check everything, but I really, really focus in on, are those measurements right? And did it catch all the condition issues? So sometimes I have to go in and tweak the measurements and condition issues, right? And it even pulls like keywords and tags, which on Etsy, it uses that. And so then I just put in the rest of that stuff. So I wanted to share that with you because I do have a 30% off coupon if you wanted to use that. So it's in the description down below. But that's what I've been doing so far. I know that I can use AI for that, but in the moment, like that's just been so handy. Let me pull my other thing back up for my sales for you. That's what I've been using, and it's just worked really well. So I may go through and do a side-by-side comparison. That'd be fun because like I said, I've used this perfectly for years. And when I'm going to come back to the sales, but I want to get on my soapbox again. I can feel it. Here it comes. When I was moving and I put my shops on vacation mode, moving from Texas to Colorado, I ended up having my shop on vacation mode for way longer than I anticipated because I turned it on while I was packing up, and I'm like, going crazy. I can't pack and figure out like so I was diving way more into my print on demand stuff and just kind of ramping that up for a while. Well, lo and behold, after 6 months, all of your listings that you had deactivated on eBay, they're gone. Was it 6 months? 9 months? No, it wasn't 9 months because I wasn't off that long. But oh my gosh, it was all gone. So I couldn't go back and just like make it live again. Yeah. So what happened was I ended up luckily had everything on this perfectly and just was able to put everything back up. Thank goodness, right? Okay. Keep getting them sales. Thank you. Thanks for being here. All right, let's get back to those sales. All right, I wanted to share that stuff though because that's what I've been using for AI listing for now. All right, then so this is one of the things that I'm like, y'all pay attention. I can't keep peanut stuff in stock. And I feel like there was somebody else that's doing a peanuts collab coming up. That's pretty big. Oh, my brains. Anyway, so this was a peanuts set, just like a Christmas set, right? And I bought a whole bunch of peanut stuff and Washerbach stuff, which is also coming. So if you see peanuts things, and this sold for $72. I think I got it for like $3 at this garage sale. Thimbles. I bought a bunch of thimbles and I pulled out the ones that could sell individually so that I could list those. And then I lotted the rest of these up. I think I spent $14 on everything, all the thimbles that I got. So this one already paid for everything with the $30 that it sold for. If you have any questions as I go, drop them in the chat. Or if you're watching, leave them in the comments later after. Then this is something that I got also a while ago, and it's an old photo album type scrapbook, right? And this is just one of the pages, obviously, but it was a whole book and it had all these really cool images in it and handwriting. So what I did, you'll see here where it says see video. I created a video in the listing so that where I'm flipping through more of the pages because I couldn't get everything in the 12, is it 12 photos now? I can't remember. I couldn't get all the photos. It's more than that, but so I made a little video so they could see everything and the condition and all that stuff. But this sold for $72. And I maybe have had it listed 6 months or so. So it hasn't been listed crazy long because it's been since I've been here. And then here also Washerbach And I know it's not pronounced that way. Somebody's going to fuss at me, but I always say Washerbach or Washerback to help me remember or to help you remember. I'll remember. But it's the brand Washerbach, Washerback. And it's more peanuts bowls. But look at this set of two peanuts Washerbach bowls. That price right there, $122.50. So that's a brick, right? That is a brick sale for sure. So keep an eye out for Washerbach because there's mugs, there's bowls, there's I mean, and it's another one that I can't keep on the shelf, right? Washerbach peanuts, and then the Washerbach peanuts combo is a double whammy right there. These are Mackenzie Child's oven mitts, and it's not something I would have normally picked up, but I bought a thread up fun box, and this was in the thread up fun box. And this is they sold for $12.59. And these two, they weren't listed for very long. This Yeti hat I've had up for quite a while. I had a whole bunch of Yeti merchandise that we got back when I was in Austin. Some of them sold super fast, like the UT colors, if they were like college colors, basically. But I had the burnt orange one that sold a few of those that sold like fast, really fast, and for a lot. So this one's been up for a little bit. So it sold for $26. And then this ring I've had up forever too, and it sold for $12. So I was glad to see it go. And this is a lapis bracelet. So the lapis is a kind of gemstone, and it's got little gold flecks in it. So this one sold actually pretty quickly as well. It sold for $20.99. Then this one I've had for a while. This is a Kenner Return of the Jedi Star Wars Ewok house, right? Super cute. And it sold for $75. So this was another that was a pretty big, brick type sale, but I have had it sitting for a while. And maybe I had it priced too high. I don't know. But when I dropped the price, when I had the sale, it sold. So I'm happy for that. And then another thing I think I also did for this was I went through because I was trying to clear out inventory, truly. And I went through and looked at which items had a lot of watchers. And I don't do this all the time, but it's another way to kind of kickstart some things. And if I have an item, that has a number of watchers, I'll go in and just tweak the price a little bit so that they get notified like, hey, this item you're watching, this has gotten, the price changed. So I did that. I had it on sale, but then I also tweaked the price a little bit just to kind of, hey, come on, people, come get it or else somebody else is going to get it. And so it sold. Yay. This is one of these buttons that sold for $10. Definitely a mortar sale. And then this necklace, I honestly thought this was going to sit for a while, but it didn't. It sold really quickly. It was a Boline curved necklace and it sold for $30. I don't know. I was just like, it's kind of plain, but it sold pretty quick. This one I've had listed for a bit, but this was also from that pins and buttons lot. It sold for $17. Woody Woodpecker. All right, here's another one. This is a brand that if you see it out in the wild, grab it. And all the cool kids are loving the Spray Ground, right? So Spray Ground is a brand that they do collabs with different creators. They do collabs with different, what did they have? They had like Richie Rich, and recently who else did they have? Anyway, they have it with different, anyway, one of my kids is Spray Ground crazy. And this is actually one that I bought new. And then my kid saved up money and bought it new. And I had it set aside for Christmas. So I was like, great, now what? So I'm like, I'm going to sell it online. The thing you want to look for, because this is like one style of spray ground, but sometimes it's like paint splash, or sometimes it's, but what you're going to see is that shark tooth mouth, that like frowny shark tooth. And so, yeah, sometimes it, looks like this, where it's more, this is muted for spray ground. And sometimes it's just wild looking. So, yep. Hi in the chat. Hello. So this one I ended up selling for $104. Basically, I was just trying to get my money back on this because the window to send it, like to return it to Spray Ground, was passed because I put it up for Christmas. I was like, what are the odds? No, My kid saved up money and bought this. But the other thing about spray ground too is, pardon, some of the designs sell out like on the day they're dropped. So you never know. So I was like, oh, it's sold out. Maybe if it's not available anymore, it's going to be worth more. And there was a keychain. I could not have, I mean, the universe, come on. I'd also gotten a little keychain backpack one that had like a pink, like paint splat on it or whatever, paint drips. And my kid got that one too. I was like, but but some of them are definitely more collectible. So if you see it out and about, spray ground, grab it because it is hot commodity. All right, these are vintage Masimo sunglasses. Oh, I'm so glad y'all are here. Thank you so much. I'll come back in 1 second. Vintage Masimo glasses. This was like hot when I was, I don't know, was this in the 90s? I was younger. Let's just put it that way. So these I sold for $24. And here is the Fun Fest 84 Balloon Festival sold for $12.59. And here's another one of these comic books. This is another one that I've had forever. A friend of mine gave me boxes and boxes of comic books, and they've been selling ever since. So one after another for years, and they'll just keep selling until I don't have them. This is a Lily Pulitzer set that sold. I got this also in a thread up fun box, and it sold for $14. And this is y'all know I don't sell clothes. So you might be thinking, what in the, but I bought this at a garage sale because it was like almost brand new. And I thought, oh, you know what? My son might enjoy this. And it was way too big, but it was like one of those lightweight in the heat kind of shirts, and he likes that. So yeah, this is something I decided to sell because he's like, I can't wear this. This is huge. And I don't I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway. And then this, I like to sell flat wrapping paper. And I think in my last sales video, I had some of this too. So this, what was the one from the last? I feel like it was a Snoopy one as well that sold from the last one. It was a character for sure. But this is a Corvette, and this wrapping paper I got for maybe $1 or 50 cents, and it sold for $14. And these just sold, these J. Crew earrings. Pardon me, I'm all itchy. Sold for $14 as well. And then this is just a little fossil glasses case, like microfiber cloth glasses case that sold for $11.89. I honest to goodness don't know where I got it. It must have come with something else. And I thought, it's in the box. I'm just going to take pictures. While I'm at it, I'll list it. And then this is a little LL Bean mini tote. It's a little one. Little. And it sold for $17.49. This one was on Etsy. And then that was on eBay. My apologies. This U-Gears sold. I almost kept it because I wanted to build it. And this was another one that sold for $45. So if you see these new in box, they're quite pricey if you're trying to buy them new. So I saw this one new in box, and I think I paid $1 or something for it at a garage sale, and sold for $45. And Lego picture frame. Legos. I love selling Lego. I love I have Lego everywhere. Y'all, I'm Lego crazy. Like my kiddo built that. Anyway, this is not the Lego show. Anyway, so this one sold for $19.59. Lego frame. If you see new in box Lego stuff, grab it. This is the thing that I saw at the thrift store. I was like, what is this? So it's a messenger bag, Dragon Age too. I was like, that's impressive looking. And then when I opened the bag to look at the tag, I think it was Activision. Did I not put that in the title? I don't think I did. But it was a video game brand. Is it on this one or a different one? Anyway, but the person that bought it was sending me messages like, are you sure it's clean inside and it's not all gummy and gross? Like, I'm sure. So $104. So if you see something that looks like, whoa, what is that? Go. And I think I spent up on it. I think I paid about $14 at the thrift store for this, which, if you know me, it's not what I like to do, but that's what I got. So I would say the things to definitely be on the lookout for is if it's something really cool, impressive, and you're like, I don't know what this is, like that bag or the spray ground, and then Washerbach stuff and peanuts. I feel like there was something else on here because there were 5. I had 5 things. Let me flip back through. What was the 5th one? I gotta keep my promises, right? Star Wars stuff. Oh my gosh. Oh, cool pictures. Cool pictures. The the old picture album, that was another really good seller. And it sold quicker than I thought. I really thought, look, this is gonna be hanging out for a while, but it sold pretty quick. All right. I appreciate everybody coming live. And if you're watching later, thanks so much for being here. Once again, I use the List Perfectly listing assistant. I drop my photos in and it populates all of that stuff. And it's really quick, especially if you're listing on multiple platforms. It's really worth it. So I have that 30% off in the description down below. And I hope you guys, what's today, the 2nd? If I don't see you before the 4th of July, have a safe and happy 4th of July, everybody. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.